Comedian and actor Alan Davis, plus magician David Blaine. And there's music too. Another top Friday night on BBC One with Jonathan Ross at 10:35.
Good evening and welcome to Have I Got News For You. My name's John Sargent and thanks to the viewer who had this dropped through his letterbox by a local businessman. No surprise to those of us who've been standing outside number 10 these past 5 years, although we thought it was bullshit. In the news this week, in the grounds of Buckingham Palace, it's a tough first morning for the new junior butler. In Albania, the winner of the Norman Wisdom Lookalike contest prepares to accept his medal. And there's a shock at the Epsom by-election as an independent party pushes the Tories into fourth place. On Ian's team, the writer and broadcaster who once likened Julia Roberts to a sea slug, so I'm looking forward to her description of me, Germaine Greer. On Paul's team, a TV presenter recently described as one of Britain's national treasures, so she's lucky not to have been sold off by a palace footman, Lorraine Kelly. And we start with round one. Ian and Germaine, what's this about?
That's a UN plane.
That's a shaggin' wagon. Oh, no.
That's Tony. And a tube terror alert, thanks for the clue. And that's EastEnders reacting to the news. I think this is the fact the war's not starting.
Yes, so you've got war and you also got terror, haven't you?
They go together, John.
They do. Now, what's the Prime Minister been telling us to do?
He's been saying, don't panic, there's no reason to panic, except if there is a reason, then panic.
And the army's been saying, we can't fight fires and fight wars at the same time, so can you please sort yourselves out? Can we do one or the other?
The main threat this week has been this threat of gas on the London Underground,
Cyanide gas.
So what have commuters been told? What have they been warned to look out for?
Trains.
Stop breathing.
If you see a train, you might be in trouble.
The smell of almonds have been asked to look out.
By the time you smelt the almonds, you did.
No, wait a moment. I think Paul's onto something very clever and subtle here.
Really?
Yeah.
It's news to me.
When they're going to do some sort of campaign at Christmas time and they're going to waft the scent of this new chocolate almondy scented stuff into the underground, and then they thought it wasn't a good idea because people would associate that with cyanide and that would be bad.
I'm worried about this question of how worried we should be.
Well, watch what Tony Blair does.
No, but I think we
If
should...
suddenly he flies to Bermuda, then panic.
Yeah.
He's very worried. Didn't you
Shouldn't
see the state of his bow tie at that dinner the other night? He had his bow tie up his ear. He was sort of fretting about it, pulling it around. But you know, Cherie wasn't with him. That was the real problem. She didn't tie that for him. He should learn about the clip-on ones.
But I think what we should
Do you think
worry
that's
about...
women's place?
I don't think we're really getting to grips, though, with how we should behave as commuters on the Underground. We should think about anyone who's suspicious.
Yeah.
The Observer was very helpful. Look at this.
It's that woman at the back, isn't it?
This is the return of weapons inspectors to Iraq and the threat of a gas attack on the London Underground. Should America eventually attack Iraq, one of the new high-tech weapons in its arsenal is a radical thermobaric warhead known as a vacuum bomb. Hugely destructive, but it does clean up after itself. A spokesman for London Underground told The Times, "The main line of defence against terrorist attacks is the vigilance and experience of Tube staff." So it looks as if we've had it then. Paul and Lorraine, your turn.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah, this
yuck.
is the new series of Celebrity Big Brother. That's wearing a wig, a bit late for vanity. No, this is this guy, isn't it?
It's Professor Gunther.
Gunther van Hagen.
Von or whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
he's
And he plasticates people. It's really, really
How do
horrible.
you plasticate somebody?
Well, you sort of flay their flesh off, apparently.
Yeah.
And then there's a kind of plastication process that only he knows about, so I don't really know the secret of it.
But you're using the word plastication like an expert would.
Yeah, and I think you're wrong too, because it's
still-
plastinate.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, plastinate.
But he did the first autopsy in public for about 200 years
Yeah.
or
He
something.
did, yes, or
and
since
people
1740,
paid
if you work that
money.
out.
Yeah.
It was
People
on
paid
Channel
money
4.
to go see it.
How much were the
Yeah.
tickets for this?
12
12 quid, 10, 12 pounds.
A head? That's
Yes.
an arm and a leg, mate.
So the corpse was 6 months old. It had been in formaldehyde for 6 months. It must have smelt just like long life milk.
It was apparently really disgusting. One of my friends went, they didn't pay, but they did go, and they said that it was really, really horrible. They sneaked in.
What,
and
dressed up as a corpse, or...?
just at the back, and they said that the stench was really, really horrible, and they were sick.
How many watched it?
400, 300?
Which is not bad for Channel 4. What happened as this wonderful man, this professor, made the first incision?
A gasp from the crowd. They all went,
Yeah.
like that. Didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. They went like, ah! Like that. And it turned out that the bloke's dead.
Has anyone been to this Body Worlds
Yes.
exhibition?
Yes.
Ian?
Have you been? Did you pay money
Yeah,
to go?
yeah.
No.
Yes.
Never.
Well, you
And I
paid.
watched it live on Channel 4 last night.
Oh, yuck.
When he
Oh,
cut
really?
the heart open and he took the congealed blood out of one of the
Oh,
ventricles
God.
and said, "This is congealed blood." It was very, very exciting.
I'm looking at you in a new light now. I
Yes.
thought you were a twinkly, lovely little person, and I'm worried now.
I'm just interested in the science of a man cutting people up for money.
Right, okay.
Isn't it art?
It is rather beautiful, though. There's the shape of a human male, just with arteries, so it's red and floating. And you go in there and it's just
Oh,
dead
what's your
arteries.
house like?
I see worse things in my kitchen.
Like
Really?
what?
Like where you have to skin a rabbit or a hare. I once had to skin a hare and it had 4 little leverets inside it. And, well, the dog killed it, you see. And then I had these 4 little leverets. I just posted them down the dog.
This is not a cookery programme. The professor has been threatened with prison for going ahead with the autopsy, but it could still have a happy ending. He might get put in a cell with Jeffrey Archer. Ian and Germaine, your turn.
That's university, or is it a pub?
Well, they look much the same. I think it's a university.
Fungus the bogeyman.
And this is Claire Short. This is the controversy about top-up fees, and Claire Short was the one who said that she thought it was all wrong.
The idea is to charge more money for your university education. And Margaret Hodge came out with this wonderful phrase. She said, "Why should dustmen subsidise the doctor?" This is a member of the Labour Party. Hadn't occurred to her that the dustman might need to ring up a doctor one day. Do you resent subsidising my education?
You had an education.
How did the Daily Mail boost Claire Short's credibility on this issue?
Oh, it didn't back her, did it? Because that's the end.
Well, it showed an extraordinary picture of Claire. And, of course, that's just simply Claire Short in her student days.
I think she looks
Denying
pretty
it,
cute.
She does. She looks really fit. That's good.
Well, that's cleared that up then.
Compared with, you know, now.
Have we got a picture of Gordon Brown in a bikini coming?
Should we go on to Gordon Brown and to Charles Clarke? Not in bikinis, oddly.
He's got enough money to grow a beard, obviously.
But how did the
afford
Daily
the
Mail
razors.
describe that Charles Clarke beard? Something very political about that beard, don't you think?
It's a red beard.
Red meaning?
Labour.
No.
Marxist beard.
Tribune
Nearly-
beard.
Very near. Well, all right. A Karl Marx beard.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Well, you've got to be pedantic. You wait to get the scores. This is the way we're going to run it.
I don't mean you. I mean the idea that Karl Marx was the only person who had a beard that shape.
Well, exactly. Now, It's the proposal to introduce top-up fees for students. According to the government, 18-year-old college students should face up to reality. At that age, they can get a tattoo, have sex, drive a car, drink alcohol, get married and join the army. Ah, what a first week that was. Paul and Lorraine, have a look at this.
This is the Queen meeting. There's gone to James Bond films. You meet Pierce Brosnan. Then Madonna saying to her, "And what do you do?" This is the England coach being taken in to meet the Queen as well. There's Sven meeting the Queen. She's got no idea who she's meeting.
Doesn't know.
Which part did you play? She says David Beckham. She still thinks she's seeing the film. And there's a toy boy for the night. It's the Queen. The Queen's gone mad. And we've got to keep it quiet. She's gone completely bonkers.
But did she spot Ashley Cole there, do you think, wearing trainers?
I didn't spot Ashley Cole. Did she?
No.
Was he?
Who does Ashley
the
Cole
film.
play for, Ian?
Ashley Cole, he plays for football.
He plays for Football United.
I think that's near enough.
It's got to be worth the
We
point.
move on now. What was the Queen going to see? What did she see this week?
Unite or die.
Die Another Day.
Diane, and what does that mean?
Nothing. They don't mean anything, the titles. Can you remember the last titles of the James Bond movies? I can't.
Tomorrow
But
Never Knows.
you can remember the Sean Connery ones, though. But not
You Only
anything
Live
after
Twice?
that. Yeah, that's Sean Connery, though.
Live and
Tomorrow
Let
is not
Die.
enough. You want today as well?
The world is quite big, or have I got that right?
They've got an invisible car in this one.
What would be the point of having an invisible car? Wouldn't the villains just chase somebody who's doing 80 miles an hour in a seated position?
No, you get...
Once you're in it, you're invisible as well.
But
Are you invisible as well?
You
Once
can't
you go
see
in
into the car.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Once
Because
you're in, you can't...
It's all
be
illusionism.
invisible.
The surface of the car reflects the light in such a way that you cannot see it.
How do you fill it with petrol?
Very difficult.
It's invisible too, just like you are when you're in it.
But you drive an invisible car into a petrol station, you get out, suddenly everybody goes, "Where's that bloke come from?"
Exactly, but you...
Then he's got the poor sod's got to try and find the petrol cap.
No, but you can turn it off.
Ah,
So then suddenly a car materialises in the forecourt of the petrol station.
Oh, right, I see. OK.
What about Prince Charles? Why wasn't
I'm
he...
actually sitting in an invisible car at the moment. Prince Charles,
Wasn't at the premiere, was he? What was he doing?
having sex with a goat. State secret, sorry, we're not meant to tell you that. He was though, wasn't he? You know that.
Sex with a goat, that's one suggestion. Ian, from your team, what's
There was an invisible goat, apparently.
What's Paul Burrell been up to this week?
Oh, he was on GMTV.
Did you interview him?
No, I didn't. He was on earlier on.
Oh, right, yes.
He wafted
You have
in.
interviewed
Did he have
him,
anything
haven't you?
interesting to say?
Lorraine, you
I
have
have interviewed him, and it's quite strange because he's taken on the characteristics of Princess Diana. It's really bizarre. He puts his head sort of like to one side and he kind of does all that sort of stuff, and it's really quite odd.
But is he a rock? An odd rock?
I think he's a crumbling rock.
I think he misheard anyway. It wasn't "I was her rock," it's "you can wear my frock."
This is the Queen's busy week, attending the Bond film premiere and meeting the England football team. When the Queen arrived at the Royal Albert Hall for the James Bond premiere, one of the staff took her coat. Not the first time that's happened. Which brings us to the end of that round, and a quick look at the scores show us that Paul and Lorraine have 9, Ian and Germaine have 7. Time now for the tabloid headline round. Ian and Germaine, here's one for you. And the winner is me.
Uh-oh. This is yet another disgraceful bit of behaviour by the Anthea Turner crew, isn't it? What's her husband called? Grant.
Grant.
Grant Bovey.
She was drawing the raffle that a charity do,
And
and
she
there was
drew-
one prize, and she drew it out, and he'd won it.
2 first-class tickets
2
to Los
first-class
Angeles.
tickets to Los
It's not-
Angeles.
not
Good
buttons.
prize.
Yeah.
Yes, they're worth £4,900 each.
And he said, "Great, we'll keep them."
I'll give you the exact quote.
Right,
Do you
yeah,
not
because
see
I may have
going
made
in?
that
Are
up.
you ready? Because I think we try and keep accurate. I think. It's
Yeah.
You're talking to the editor of Private Eye.
Yeah.
He said, "As Anthea and I need to go to Los Angeles, well done, Anthea." Who's going to be punching Grant Bovey soon?
Oh, Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais, the office
Yes,
man.
Ricky Gervais.
Celebrity boxing for some charity or other.
Ricky Gervais won the chance in a raffle. We've had quite a few charitable events, haven't we, this week?
Big Brother
Right.
Celebrity.
Celebrity Big Brother.
Yes, Celebrity Big Brother.
And we had the BBC dressing up in fishnet tights.
Oh, that was disturbing.
What is it about these newsreaders? Is there nothing that can persuade them to make complete arses of themselves?
Let's just see the pictures of them, yeah?
Invisible goat! He's got an invisible goat!
Faithful handyman.
Oh, God.
He's a little brought down.
What are you doing?
When you knocked, he thought you were the candy man.
If you want this to stop, pledge your money now.
Oh, my God!
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Oh, jeez.
Jeremy Vine, Michael Burke, Andrew Marr and others, and that was one of the reasons why I left BBC. Yes, this is Anthea Turner's good fortune enjoying her husband's raffle ticket at a celebrity event. Anthea and her husband Grant Bovey kept the prize, and according to The Sun, they didn't leave as very popular guests. Do they ever? It's not the first time Anthea and her husband Grant Bovey have been criticised in the press. At their wedding photo shoot, they famously got free chocolate bars for shamelessly plugging Cadbury's Snowflake, delicious white chocolate wrapped in an irresistibly smooth milk chocolate coating. Last week, Michael Burke was pictured arriving at Television Centre wearing fishnet stockings and suspenders and couldn't believe his luck when he realised it was Children in Need Day. Paul and Lorraine, a cryptic clue from the Daily Star. Crazy Jacko baby stunt.
Yes.
Very strange, though, isn't it? It was Michael Jackson dangling his little baby, Prince Michael II, who we think's about 9 months old, but we don't know, because nobody knows where he's come from or who's his mother or anything. He just kind of appeared one day, and he was dangling him over his hotel balcony. And everybody said how silly that was, and indeed how silly it was, because he could have just wiggled and then he'd
can we judge it?
Ooh. Ooh.
Well, that'll presumably disprove all those allegations about how he shouldn't be let near children. He got overexcited by the presence of the fans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like most celebrities. If there's a fan around, they just throw children out the window.
And what were the names of all these children?
Well, the oldest one is called Prince Michael I, and then there's a little girl called Paris
Paris, what's her second name?
Jackson.
France?
What was the explanation for the veils? What was all that about?
The anti-rhino nets. And if you can see a rhino in that picture, you can't. It shows you they work.
They're mini parachutes in case they get thrown off the balcony.
I mean, he's obviously very ill, isn't he?
Yeah, he should be locked up, really, shouldn't
No, I don't think he should be locked up. I think he should be looked after in some sense.
he? I meant locked up and then looked after
Oh, yeah.
in a sort of not in a callous way. I meant caringly locked up.
And his nose is falling off because he was in court last week.
Why,
and his
why?
nose was just hanging on with a little
That's right.
tip of...
Every time he sneezes, it hits the wall opposite.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's just not well, is he?
It's
He's just not
do you know
well.
what, though? It's really horrible. Who operated on him? They really do need their backsides kicked to take
That
his
probably
money.
is somebody's backside.
Yes, this is the growing concern over Michael Jackson's suitability as a parent after he dangled his baby son 60 feet up from a hotel balcony. The NSPCC quickly condemned the singer's behaviour, saying we would advise anyone not to put babies or children at risk by dangling them over a balcony. They also suggest you shouldn't throw them off bridges or run over them in the car. The News of the World recently described one fan's encounter with Michael Jackson. After getting up close to Jacko, the fan couldn't believe his eyes, or his nose or his chin. And at the end of all that, the scores have moved on to Paul and Lorraine, 13, Ian and Germaine, 10. Round 3 is all about picking the odd one out. Paul and Lorraine, your 4 are Richard Desmond, Charlton Heston, Sir Trevor MacDonald and David Ginola.
Hair could be hair, but Charlton Heston wears a wig now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, David Ginola advertises shampoo, doesn't he? And Charlton Heston's the only one who wears a wig. All the others have their own hair. That can't be right.
Give us a clue.
All right, you want a bit more of a clue?
Yeah.
Why
He's
are you
very
giving them a
pliable, isn't he? Right, give us a clue now.
It's because you're worth it.
Oh, they've
Hair.
all advertised L'Oreal. haven't they?
L'Oreal.
That's it, you've got it.
The L'Oreal
They're
do
all
a-
fans of L'Oreal hair products,
Except
the famous wig wearer, Charlton Heston.
Heston,
Yeah?
right.
What about
but
Trevor McDonald?
anything.
Where does Trevor come into all this? If I mention Elnet hairspray, will that give you a clue?
Oh, that's really good stuff. That's the big can.
Apparently
Yeah.
he keeps that in the drawer in his desk, but he wouldn't let me borrow it. David Ginola is one of the faces of L'Oreal.
He is,
He
yeah.
must be.
Yeah.
So can you think of any other faces?
Oh, loads of American
Yeah,
actresses
loads
do
of American actresses.
Catherine Deneuve
Yeah.
and Beyonce Knowles.
Very good.
Beyonce.
It rhymes with
Beyonce?
fiancé.
All right, who is Beyonce?
Beyonce's
You know
a
about
singer.
Beyonce,
Beyonce,
Knowles?
she's the lead singer in Destiny's Child.
Really? What a very wonderful junior moment.
I just had the most amazing flashback and dream. Did you know the answer to that?
He knew the answer.
I think
No,
I want a very large bonus for
Give me a
that.
large bonus.
no, no, I'm not actually. So I want to go straight on to an incisive follow-up question,
Right.
which is, we're talking about hair, Lorraine, too.
Yes.
It's very elaborate, this.
Yes.
Have you ever done any hair care ads?
No, we're not allowed to do adverts,
I thought
unfortunately.
they stopped you once doing it.
No, we're just not allowed.
Not allowed to do any adverts at all?
No.
Not even voiceovers?
No.
Right. Oh, well,
It's a
that's all right.
bugger, isn't it?
Is this the interesting area you were talking about?
Right, on we go then.
Have you ever slept on an oil rig?
I have actually.
Yeah, I see that. Already I'm ahead of the game.
Ian and Germaine, your foursome, Charles Kennedy, the Queen, Martin Bell, and Beyonce Knowles, of course.
Martin Bell was shot at.
Was it in the leg?
It was in the Balkans, actually.
Is it because
It's a
they're
very
all
technical.
standing for Parliament as Liberals?
I think what you mean is, can you give us a clue?
Yes, you're right.
All right, well, the clue is they've been framed.
They're all in the National Portrait Gallery.
Right, here's another clue. What did the Queen do in June?
Well, if you're going to be patronising...
What, she attended her own Golden Jubilee.
She had a Golden Jubilee.
Yes, and it...
None of
this
the others did, though.
involved gold.
Oh, they've all made singles that went gold. Especially Martin Bell, obviously.
Well, you're nearly there. They all own a gold disc, except Martin Bell, who's about to release a hip-hop single for charity.
How does the Queen own a gold record?
Party in the Palace. Charles Kennedy got a gold David Bowie disc for appearing on the Johnny Vaughan Show. Describing his favourite singer, Charles Kennedy told reporters, "Bowie improves with age. He's like the best wine. Not that Charles ever has a bottle around long enough to find out."
Is that true?
Martin Bell's record?
Come on, leave the autocue. Tell us, is that true? You know,
Of
Charles.
course that's true.
He likes to drop.
How long do you keep a bottle of wine when you've opened it?
Weeks.
There we are, right? So you're odd, he's not. So with just one round to go, the scores are looking like this. Paul and Lorraine, 14. Ian and Germaine have 12. Missing Words is the final round, featuring this week's guest publication, the Banjo Newsletter. Out weekly and not to be confused with Ukulele Daily. So take your pick from Thief Nailed by What?
Hands and feet.
Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear, right, you've got it. What's the story then?
A thief stole a Buzz Lightyear toy and hid in the bushes and accidentally hit the button. And Buzz Lightyear said, "Prepare to engage." And they nicked the thief.
The Daily Mail reported that the talking toy has a range of 8 phrases, including "I'm Buzz Lightyear, I come in peace," "Buzz Lightyear to the rescue," and crucially, "He's over here in the hedge office." Next, what is the centre of the universe?
Romford.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Alabama.
Banjo Land.
You're nearly there on banjos. The answer is the key of G is the centre of the universe. That's from Banjo Newsletter, opposite the headline, "Are you bored?" Well, of course you are. You're reading the Banjo Newsletter. Next, young British women are what?
Up for it.
Drinking. Drinking too much.
Are a bunch of girls. Banjo lovers.
The answer is British women are birds who fly the nest early. This is a European survey which shows that British women are the quickest to leave home. Not when they're getting ready to go out, they're not. Are you happy with that, Germaine? Perfectly sensible comment. Right. Next, what's on a chapati?
Jesus.
Yeah. Christ on a... Is it Christ on a chapati?
Oh, it is. Christ on a chapati is the
yeah.
correct answer. And
It was found in India.
Yes, the face of Jesus, which has miraculously appeared on a chapati in India.
It tends to do it in...
It doesn't look anything like Jesus.
But thousands of people.
This is rubbish.
It goes there. Can you see it? That's it. Yeah.
Thousands of people have already come to worship at this miracle, and the priest has placed it on display.
Yes, but if you turn your head slightly, it looks like South America.
It looks more like Osama bin Laden than it does like Christ.
It does. Or Hagrid.
Oh, it does look like Hagrid. It does.
And lastly, what fights Prescott?
Banjo.
Buzz Lightyear.
Think Sweden. You're
IKEA.
Swedish, aren't you?
Sven.
Paul?
Yeah, I'm Swedish.
IKEA.
Yeah.
IKEA, absolutely. This is a local planning dispute. IKEA's barrister assembled the evidence, but the case still fell apart. That brings us to the end of tonight's contest. And
Just
the
as well,
final
it was going quite well till then.
The final scores are as follows. Paul and Lorraine, 18. Ian and Germaine, 14. And I leave you with news of a light-hearted moment at Buckingham Palace when an aide asks, "Shall I get this measured for Charles?" As a meeting about the firemen's dispute stretches on into the evening, John Prescott's little brother waits patiently outside. And there's confirmation that next week's Have I Got News for You will be hosted by Boris Johnson. Good night.
Alan Davis, magician David Blaine, plus music from Ms. Dynamite and Enrique Iglesias. Friday Night with Jonathan Ross on BBC One in 35 minutes.